guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm doing my 2020 makeup favourites, the last video of the year that I'm going to be filming. I feel like a lot of these are going to be quite repetitive because I am a kind of a creature of comfort. If I love something I will keep on using it a lot, but I have got a few new products as well to try out. I'm going to start with the base first. I'm also going to apply all the makeup as I talk about my favourites as well, just to make it a little bit more interesting. I feel like the base routine, you probably already know what's going to happen with that, because yeah, I think in particular my base makeup, if I like it I will use it constantly, whereas sometimes the eyes, you know, I can flutter between a couple of palettes and stuff like that. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your makeup favourites are down below, and if you're interested then please keep on watching. Starting off with the base, so I guess kind of relatively new product for me, but I have really been enjoying, is the 100% Pure Mattifying Primer. If you watched me for a while, you know I had the glowing primer, which I really enjoy because I do like a glow base. But I thought I'd test out the mattifying primer and see how well it works, and I think it works really nicely. It's an interesting texture, but it doesn't leave any kind of residue on the skin, which I think is really nice. And I do think my makeup goes on smoothly afterwards, and I think it does help with the longevity as well. So it's just a clear gel. And yeah, I just rub it in. I focus it mainly on the T-zone area, because obviously that's where I'm very oily. Okay, so I let that soak in. So for my foundation, one that I've actually tried this year, which I really enjoyed, as you know, is the Lily Lolo Cream Foundation. I managed shade Cotton. Really nice foundation. I'm going to use it with a sponge. This is one I got from Beauty Bay. It's a really nice foundation. It sits beautifully on the skin. It's a really nice formula. I'd say it's slightly, well, obviously you can build it up because it's cream, but I feel like you can get a lighter coverage than the Hint Beauty concealer. I would say my Hint Beauty concealer, as I mentioned, lasts longer on the skin for me. I feel my oils do creep through faster or sooner than with my Hint Beauty concealer, but I do thoroughly enjoy this foundation. Very lightweight, sits beautifully on the skin. I think I prefer it with a spun application as well. Okay, now I will go in with concealer, so no surprise, Hint Beauty concealer in light. I did get asked on my Winter Frosty look by Oceana P because I use this a lot, how long does this last me, especially as I use a foundation as well. And I did reply to it in that video, but I thought I would answer that question here as well. I'd say I have to get a new pot. If I wear this daily, probably every 2 months or so, I reckon. But I think I've gone through a good 4 or 5 so far. I just thoroughly enjoy it. It gives a really nice coverage. It sits nicely on skin. I don't find it irritates my skin at all, anything like that. Okay, so that's the foundation portion done. On to the next step, and again, no surprise, the Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury is one of my favourite liquid highlighters. I did try the Maya Chia one this year, in Golden Hour, which I did enjoy, but I think it hasn't quite replaced this one yet in terms of glow and what I'm after. This one has no shimmer, no glitter in. It just really looks like your skin's glowing, which I think is why I really enjoy it. I think also, as you noticed this year, I seem to be getting more into a cream routine as opposed to a powder routine at the moment, so obviously all my base favourites will be slightly more cream, liquid orientated. On to the next base product, Hint Beauty concealer, but this time in deep. One thing I would say is I wish that Hint Beauty did more shade ranges with this, because this is either the deepest or the second deepest, and it works for my skin tone for a bronzer. So I definitely think they should expand the shade range for sure. And again, it just melts beautifully into skin to give a very natural, well, not natural finish, but you know, it kind of, there's no distinction on the skin that you've added something to it. It all just melts really beautifully together. I think that's why I have been preferring cream routine at the moment. It's just everything looks like it fits or melts perfectly together on the skin. My final favourite kind of face makeup I've really enjoyed during 2020 is definitely my Rituel de Fille cream, what's it called? Inner Glow Cream Pigment in Delirium. As you can see, it looks a mess as well. Very hit pan. It's just a really beautiful shade. It's a nice coral shade. So I think it just works beautifully on the skin. I do prefer a slightly more coral toned blusher anyway. And again, the fact that it's cream just means it melts beautifully into the skin as well. Okay, so that's the kind of skin portion done. Like I said, there's probably no surprises in any of those products I've really been enjoying. It is what I do almost in every video anyway, so they're bound to be in my 2020 favourites. Moving on to brows, I guess what I've been using the most at the moment is the ABH palette, partly because since I've been dyeing my hair auburn, I tend to go for a bit more of the auburn shade in the ABH palette, which I think works perfectly well. And one of my favourite brushes as well to go with it is the Luxie Small Angle. It's a 215. That's kind of one of my favourite eyebrow brushes. I don't do anything crazy with my eyebrows. I just kind of shape them how I like and just fill them in. I'm not someone who enjoys doing the eyebrow portion, so the quicker the process for me, the better. So something a bit like that. Okay, so just zooming in closer so we can move on to my favourites in terms of eye products. I guess to begin with I have to prime my eyes, so Lily Lola Eye Primer. Again, I've gone through a couple of these ones. It's just a nice creamy texture again. Obviously works perfectly with the mineral eyeshadows, but also just it really helps the blend of eyeshadows. I find they last well. I don't have like issues with oiliness with the lids with this product. And it does blank out the lid slightly, so if you've got any veins or anything like that, or I've got this freckle that kind of creeps in here, so sometimes when I'm blending there's this weird patch just there where the freckle is. Sometimes I do like to just kind of reduce the visibility of that slightly, just to help with some makeup looks. Now, moving on to the eyeshadows. I have got one palette that I definitely think featured in my previous my 2019 favourites, and it's probably no surprise, but I do have a few new ones to pair with it as well, and this looks very battered at the moment, and it's my Ether Beauty Solstice palette. So all the beautiful kind of warm tones. As I mentioned, I do think I prefer the slightly warmer tones just because of my blue eyes. I think it just really complements my blue eyes. This is a really beautiful palette, my favourite one definitely from Ether Beauty in general, and there's some really beautiful shades. You can create daytime looks, evening looks, really bronzy looks, etc. And the mattes work beautifully. I think Ether Beauty use some really beautiful mattes, with the exception of the Joshua Tree palette, but in general they make really beautiful mattes, and the shimmers are really beautiful as well. But I do want to mention a few new favourites or new products I've tried this year which I really enjoyed as well. So one other is another palette. It's technically not a new product. This is actually something I bought off Emily as she was no longer using it, and it's the Dose of Colours Francation palette. Recently I've been really getting into it, using it a lot. I did get a comment from Eri on my Q&A video asking what I had on my eyes because she thought they were really nice, and it was literally just a combination of Necessary and a little bit of Churro through the crease, but a very light amount of Churro, and then just across the lid just a kiss, this shade here, which I think is a really beautiful shade. Overall I really enjoy it. I used it in my winter look I just filmed, so I used kind of mainly this colour, but I used this to deepen it up on the outer portion, and obviously I've done a look using this colour and the kind of cranberry tones. I think it is a really beautiful palette. And the other two products I've got are the Ilia Eye Tint in Hatch. I just think this is such a lovely product. As I mentioned, it works well with eyeshadow and obviously by itself, which is kind of how it's meant to be worn. But I think it works really well. It's this lovely olive green, and it has got like reflected gold in it, so when the light hits there's a bit of metallicness to it. Really beautiful, super easy to apply. It dries down, obviously it dries to a powder, so it lasts really well on the eyes. I do think it lasts really well on the eyes, and like I said, it does work even though it's not made to be made with other eyeshadows. I think it works really well as a whole eyeshadow look as well. So I'm definitely wanting to pick some more of these up in 2021 for sure. And the final product I want to say is the Rowan Disco Eye eyeshadow. I wanted something that was going to replace a certain shade out of my Charlotte Tilbury Uptown Girl palette, where it's almost like a translucent eyeshadow with glitter in it, so it almost gave a really wet finish on the eyes. And I was recommended to try this out, and it definitely works beautifully. I love it. It's really nice. You can either do it by itself, so it just gives that kind of, almost makes your eyelids look wet, or pop it on top of something else just to get a really metallic finish to it as well. But like I said, it is kind of like that translucent shadow, but the reflex in it just gives a kind of wet finish to the eyes, which I think is really, really beautiful. So I'm going to apply a kind of mixture of them to my eyes to create some kind of look. I will mention some of my favourite brushes as well, because I know I've had quite a few questions recently with that, which I did answer in my Q&A, but I thought I'd actually show them in action as well a bit more. So I think I'm going to start off with the Solstice palette to begin with. I'm going to go in with Balance, this beautiful shade here, and I'm taking this on a Luxie 235 blending brush. So it's quite a small blending brush, quite good for getting in that crease area and on the outer portion, which is exactly where I'm going to take this shade. So I'm just going to work this onto this outer portion and through the crease. It's quite a dense brush as well, so it'll pick up a fair amount of product on the brush. So I'm just starting working that shade onto the outer portion and through the crease. Okay, I'm going to switch to a much fluffier brush. So this came from the iconic London Eye Set. I did look up, and they don't do the individual eye and face sets, they actually do as one as a combined. And they don't sell the brushes individually, unfortunately. But it's just a really nice fluffy brush, which is going to be great for blending shadows out. So I'm actually going to go into the shade New Moon from the Solstice palette, this matte here, just to really blend this out now and probably wing it out, because that is what I do enjoy when it comes to eye looks. And you can see just how well these blend out as well. Okay, I'm just going to use one more shade from the Ether Beauty palette, and that is going to be the shade Sister, which is a really dark kind of browny purple here. I just want to go ahead and really deepen up this outer portion. And I will go back in with a fluffy brush just to make sure everything is nice and blended. Okay, so I'm going to put the Solstice palette away for now. What I am going to do in with next is probably with the Ilia Eye Tint. And this is going to go all over my lid portion. So I'm just going to take it straight from the wand. I'm going to use my finger, because I do find the finger works better for blending out. And just pat this in. I'm just going to take the brush I used for the Sister colour, just to go over the edge slightly here, just to get that blend together. I'm going to jump to Dosey Colours palette now. Actually, iconic London pencil brush. I'm going to go into the shade Churro, this one down here, and run that along the lower lash line. I'm going to take some Necessary next on these blending brush and go ahead and buff that out. Going back to pencil brush again, I'm going to go in with Dirty Money. It's beautiful kind of greeny olive shade with the gold reflex running through it. It's probably more on the side of, it's probably more on the shade, it's probably more on the gold side than it is the olive green side, but definitely a beautiful shade. I'm just going to run this on the inner portion of the lower lash line. I guess kind of to mimic the Ilia skin tint. This shade is definitely a bit more metallic than the Ilia skin tint. Not skin tint, eye tint, sorry. Then what I'm going to do is my finger, I'm just going to take Just a Kiss, and this is going to go nicely in the inner portion of the eye. Then to finish the eye look off, I'm going to take some of the Rowan, I'm just going to pop it right kind of on the lid portion here, and you'll see it just gives a really beautiful wet finish to the eye. Definitely use a finger with these. works beautifully, but I know they do like kind of deeper shades as well, which I'd love to try those. Just dab that on top. Yeah, it's just giving the lids a bit more of that metallic feel to them. So that's the eye portion done. So those are kind of the products I've really been enjoying during 2020 for eyes. To finish off is mascara, and again this isn't going to be anything new. It's Lily Lolo Big Lash. I am someone who prefers the volume to the lashes, so this one works beautifully for that. It's got quite a thick wand as well, so it can really coat my lash as well. So that is one I've done, and as you can see it just really adds that beautiful volume to the lashes, which I love. So that's the eye portion done. So on to lips, and I have quite a few lip products. Lip products that I have been loving during 2020. I won't use them all obviously, but I will just go through them quickly. No surprise, the Lily Lolo Whisper lip gloss has always been a good favourite of mine, and it still does. I just think it's beautiful. They're really nice lip glosses, they're not sticky or anything like that, but also it's a really nice shade. It's a slight baby pink, but it's not too nude for me anyway. I just think that, yeah, I've gone through a couple of these and I really love this shade. Lily Lolo lip liner in soft nude, always a winner, goes with most nude lipsticks. I think it works perfectly. In particular, the Au Naturel vegan lipstick from Lily Lolo, because it has a slightly more golden undertone. So for summer, this was kind of my lip combo to go to, because it was a bit more golden undertones, which I think is beautiful. The final nude lip product I've been loving is the Kosas lip oil in Jellyfish. This is really nice. It's a nice formula. It's not sticky on the lips again, and it just makes your lips look really nice and juicy as well, which I think is really beautiful. So those are kind of nude ones I've been loving this year. And then the other kind of lip I've been loving is a red lip. And I think this is no surprise. Again, it's another recent purchase. The lipstick itself, the formula, absolutely love anyway. But the shade Blood Orange, I think is definitely kind of my perfect go-to red. Like I said, I really enjoy the formulas of the 100% Pure lipsticks. They're kind of they're a matte lipstick, but they're not super drying. They've got a little bit of movement to them, so they're comfortable on the lips, but they last a really good amount of time on the lips. I think I am going to go for a nude lip. Obviously, I think this will pair better with the eyeshadow for this. So I'm going to start off with the soft nude lip liner from Lily Lolo. Again, a really nice formula. Good pigmentation, really easy to use, I find. I'm going to go in with the Au Naturel lipstick, which, like I said, has got a nice beautiful golden undertone to it. And then to top it off, I'm probably going to go in with... I used this in yesterday's video, so I'm going to go in with the Kosas lip oil and Jellyfish. I just think this is so pretty. I also find that lip oils just give that a bit more of a gloss than actual glosses do as well, which I think, if that's what you're going for, is perfect. Okay, so that was all my favourite products of 2020. Like I said, there were a lot of kind of oldies in there because I'm a creature of habit, and if I love something I will continue to use it. But there were a few new things that I tried this year which I've thoroughly enjoyed and I'm going to continue to use, and obviously get more shades of as well, like for example the Ilia eye tint. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you also like the makeup look I created using my favourites. I just tried to combine as much as I could out of all of it. But please do let me know what your favourites are down below that you've been loving. It is New Year's Eve when I'm filming this, so I want to wish you all a happy new year, but I also want to wish you all a safe new year, and who knows what 2021 is going to bring. I think the first few months is going to be not, well, I'm in tier 4 now. I think everything's going to still pretty much remain the same with lockdowns and stuff like that at the beginning of 2021. Hopefully this vaccine that they've just approved works and people can get the vaccination, and hopefully by this time next year everything will be as it was. We can all see our families again for Christmas and stuff like that. But hopefully 2021 we'll start to see some improvements. I think that's what all we can hope, is just to start to see some improvement and hope. But yeah, so I do wish all of you a very happy new year, a very safe new year. Thank you so much for everyone who's been really lovely, left lovely comments, supporting me. I really do appreciate it, because I do enjoy doing this and playing with makeup and sharing with you guys. So thank you so much for all your support, and yeah, I will see you in 2021.